Tonight, the White House COVID response team giving a shout out to Connecticut and 6 other states for how vaccines have been distributed here.
In total, we've now delivered 48 million doses, and 26 million of those doses have been administered. As I have said before, we're facing 2 challenges. The first is increasing the supply of vaccines safely and more rapidly, and speeding up the time it takes to administer them efficiently and, importantly, equitably. I want to call out 7 states that have already provided first vaccinations to more than 10% of their adult populations: Alaska, West Virginia, New Mexico, Connecticut, North Dakota, Oklahoma, and South Dakota.
According to the CDC, Connecticut has given first doses of the vaccine to 9% of its total population. You'll notice White House senior advisor Andy Slavitt said we've reached actually 10% of the adult population in Connecticut. Either way, that's among the best in the country. And when it comes to getting shots into arms, Connecticut has administered 403,000 first and second doses. That's 69% of the doses shipped by the federal government.